Welcome once again to our ninth session of our training on how to develop, market, and sell your product to the marketplace as an entrepreneur or an employer. My name is Simon Mbui Kayekesi. Again, as usual, we start with slogans, and for the sake of those who are joining us, because every time we have people who are joining us for the first time, so I do a quick recap of what we have been looking at, and then from there we'll go to the next level of our program for today. So basically, we have been starting with two slogans. The first slogan being, "Do I own value to be exchanged for value in the marketplace?" And we have said now, for those of you who have been following me for some time now, I believe this is already enshrined in your minds, and that is the purpose of training or learning. We are doing this so that at the end of the day, these things become part of us, and that's why there's power in repetition, because the more something is being repeated in your mind and it becomes part of you, then that's when it changes your life. The whole idea is that you and I need to have our lives. We need to have our lives changed. That is the purpose of us going through these trainings and the many other trainings that we shall be able to go through. So, do I own value to be exchanged for value in the marketplace? Yes, I need to possess value to exchange it for value in the marketplace. Actually, during the day, I was asking myself and evaluating how much of the cash from me has gone out. And then I was, in terms of me depositing money into other people's accounts or other people's lives. And I kept on asking myself to say, how much is being deposited into my life today in terms of the value that I have, in exchange for the value that I have? Because we are saying that the market pays you for value, and that is the importance of value in the marketplace. So I kept on asking myself, and it's actually a big question that is upon me, and I'll continue asking myself, and I'm saying, what is it that I'm not doing right? Why is it that I'm the one who is depositing into other people's accounts? And then if no one has deposited into my account can either be my mobile money or the actual bank account, or even just giving me a payment. That is an indication that I am exchanging my value for the cash which other people have, or the value which other people have. Our next slogan is, do I want to be wealthy on earth? And we have been saying, if I want to be wealthy here on earth, I have to own a product, on the marketing, on the sales, and on the profits. And we have talked about the aspect of you and I becoming business owners. For those of you who are already business owners, we are saying we need to consolidate our business ownership. And now I believe you are familiar with the product trinity, that is product development, product marketing, and product sales. And this is our number one, for those of you on Zoom, this is our number one how to develop, market and sell your product. That is number one. We established that you need to use God's heaven, earth, creation trinity for your product development, marketing, and sales, where God used wisdom for building the earth, and understanding for establishing the heavens, and then knowledge for making divisions in the earth, and then populating the earth with the things that we admire. And then we are told in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 3 to 5, that by way of our wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established, and through knowledge a house has rare and precious treasures. And we have established that this house is can be your business house. Okay, your business house, by wisdom it is built. Through understanding, your business house is established. Through knowledge, your business house has rare and precious treasures. And that's where we have, again, I keep on making sure I remember our established equation. Reality plus preciousness is equal to value, which is equal to worth, which is equal to wealth. And then we came to our number 2, where we have talked about you being able to know the two sides of the why of the product development, marketing, and sales with regard to benefits. And these are benefits to you as the producer of the product or service, or benefits, the perceived benefits to the consumers or buyers of your product. And we established that you need to know the benefits to you and to the customers, and especially to the customers. Of course, even to you, you the producer. Why I'm saying especially to the customers is because you are in business, and at the end of the day, your product and my product is supposed to be bought. So then the third was that you need to know why you should develop, market, and sell a product or service. And this is where we talked about the love your neighbor as you love yourself principle, where you are offering value to the market and to yourself. And I think this is the ultimate of the product benefit trinity: impact, results, and outcomes. And we have established that we need to behave like God, like in Isaiah 46, verse 10, where God sees the end from the beginning. And for you as a business owner, you need to start by focusing on impacts, results, and outcomes. Impact, results, and outcomes on the side of your consumers, and also impacts, results, and outcomes in your own personal lives. And then we went on to our fourth point, that you need to value your value. Don't devalue your value. Value your value highly. And further, we went to the number 4. We said that you need to aim for product sales as the ultimate. That is the ultimate for any business undertaking that we go into. At the end of the day, you and I need to sell a product to an extent where the market owes you the big market question, how much? I remember somebody came last night to look for accommodation at Perez guest house. And at the end of the day, by the time the person was going, he was able to go with 2 of my books, the one on marriage, and also the secret for marriage success, and also the employer in you, repositioning yourself from having an employee mind to having an employer mind. You remember our slogan, we have been saying that let the market ask you the big market question, how much? And that you owe the market, the big market question, my product is worth this much. Yes, by the time I finished a conversation with this man, he was able to ask me this big market question, how much are the books? And I was able to say the secret for marriage success is 100 kwacha 1, and then the employer in your series 1 is also 100 kwacha 1. And by the time we were parting, a sale was sealed. And that is the ultimate for you undertaking business. Because how can you make profit if you are not undertaking sales? And we established that you need to own the sales. And we quoted Douglas Kruger. he or she who owns the selling becomes rich. And so our number 5 was be conscious of being a problem solver using your value, on the fact that you and I, we were born problem solvers because our father God, according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, when he was faced with his development of the product called earth, he was faced with a challenge and he went through to undertake the resolving of that challenge, and that you and I should go into the world and be able to solve the problems out there. And I think the last, especially the two previous sessions, I concentrated on the triangle, which summarizes the fact that you have to move from problems, challenges as number 1. That is at the base of the triangle. That you start from here at the base. This is where the majority are, where there are problems and challenges. This is where the customers are. You go into now identifying business opportunities from the problems. Then from there, you go into your business idea. Then you go into your business vision. Then you move further to go into product, into production. Then you go into marketing, which is distribution. And then you go into monetization. Monetization, this is the sale. This is when now the customers ask you the big market question, how much? And you give them the big market answer, my product or service is worth this much. And then from there, you go into now profits or further dividends. And it is at this particular point that actually you become either a foolish business person or a wise business person. I know that there are a lot of foolish so-called business people who are forever, they are into loss making without them ever making any profit. I think that is, I call that foolish business. Now we need to be wise businessmen and women who whose ultimate is for us to be able to own wealth and be able to distribute that wealth. And then we talked about look at your product as a solution in the marketplace, and it is your value offer. And then the number 7, we've established that use problems around you and beyond you to solve market challenges. Number 8, we've established that you need to use God's problem-solving approach to come up with market solutions. And then number 9, we have established the fact that you and I need to rise to the occasion to be a problem solver, and that you and I need to quit the complaining camp. And we said, go and solve problems. Go out there and solve problems. And when you go out to solve problems, then you become a business person. That is to solve problems where you end up getting profits. I think for today now we go a step further. Let's look at number 10, and then we may go further into the number 11. Number 10 is saying you can use the flip side of the problems or challenges to develop, market, and sell your product. In this case, we are saying, or you could be asking yourself, which is the flip side of problems or challenges? The flip side or the other side that you can be able to view your product development is by you asking yourselves, given the problems on this side, which you would have identified, of course, you identify these problems, then at the end of the day, you and I should be able now to say, what are the solutions? What solution should I be able to give out there? This is now for problems, challenges, or crisis, to use it for you to develop, market, and sell your product. You are looking at it from this side. It's like, you know, a coin, although some people say it has two sides, but somebody has said actually it doesn't have, a coin does not have two sides. It has it has three sides. But in this illustration, I'm talking about the two sides of the major two sides of the coin. So on the other side of the coin, we are talking about you focusing on problems, challenges, and crisis. So that out of crisis, the other day I was listening to the late man of God, Miles Monroe, who has actually extensively talked about crisis being an opportunity for undertaking business. So then, instead of us focusing on problems, challenges, or crisis, we now have to look at it at our product development, product marketing, and product sales from the solutions perspective. Now, why should I be talking about looking at the possibility of you using the flip side? The secret that I've come to discover in you using the flip side, in fact, at the end of the day, you need to look at your product development, product marketing, and sales from the two sides. You need to look at it from both sides of the coin, like I was saying. Now, what is the secret in you focusing on the solutions? The secret is this. I just met one of the young men who got the Employer in Your book and went to read the book, and he was giving me feedback. And as he was giving me feedback and giving me the summary of to him what he has called a summary of the Employer in Your book series, series 1, he told me that he came to realize that number one, what he has got from the Employer in Your book series 1 is you need to discover yourself, discover your potential, discover what you are capable of doing. And what you are capable of doing are solutions. That is the answer. God brought you and I to earth to be a solution. And I like the case of Jesus. I talked about it earlier. The Bible in Luke chapter 4, verse 18 through to, I think, somewhere 20 there. Jesus gives in his manifesto, and he says, I have, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to do what? It's to be a solution. So Jesus looked at those problems. He was able to mention the problems, to preach the good news to the poor. So he was able to bring in riches to those who were in what? In poverty. Those who were sick, he was able to bring in with the solution. What is the solution for sickness? Is healing. And this is where doctors become relevant. And then what about for food? Because almost every now and then when people wake up, they need breakfast, lunch, and supper, and so forth. So then that's when now the person who is into food selling becomes offers a solution for food. So Jesus is saying, I have come that you may, I have come to be a solution. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me. He has anointed me. So it means the Spirit of God has given me capacity to solve problems, to give solutions. And what you say in that Luke chapter 4, starting from verse 18, going down, is that Christ understood the solution to each of those problems, okay, that he knew he was going to solve. So he itemized the problems on one side, and then on the other side, he also itemized the solutions. So that is what I'm saying, the flip side of the coin. So you identify problems this side, and then on the other side, you identify your solutions. What are my solutions to these problems? And who is, of course, demanding these solutions? who is my customer? Like I think we have already indicated that you need to look at you need to make sure that you understand the benefits to your customer. What are the benefits to the customer? The benefits to the customer, those are the solutions. So you focus on the solutions. How are you going to deliver the answers? The solutions are answers to a problem. For me, a mathematics teacher by profession, or is it training, is that we believe in problem solving. And the flip side of a problem that has been given, a mathematical problem, or be it an equation, is at the end of the day, before you start solving, you have to ask yourself, say, how do I solve this equation? For example, for those of you who may remember your mathematics, but I'm not there to trouble you with the mathematics. If you have a quadratic equation, how are you going to solve this quadratic equation? So a problem has been given. Now you are saying the solutions. You remember I said at the beginning that as I started talking about this, that there's a young man that I met as I was preparing for this program. I took a walk somewhere and then met a young man who read the book and the employer in your book. So he was giving me a summary, and which connects to you looking at the flip side of product development, marketing, and sales, where you focus on solutions. So he told me that he summarized his reading of the book on the fact that you need to discover yourself. When you discover yourself, you develop yourself. Developing yourself, a man called Jim Rohn has referred to it as personal development. You look at yourself. What is it that I'm capable of doing? But what is it that is missing? What is it that is missing in me, which I need to develop in order for me to improve my skills, my capabilities? So then he goes into, he says you go into personal development, you discover yourself, you go into personal development, and then he talked about the fact that you need to go and you need to reposition yourself. So discovery, you discover yourself, you develop yourself, then you go into repositioning yourself. Then he said, he summarized that the next thing after you reposition yourself is that now you need to go into value addition to resources around you and within you, so that now you come up with a product or a service that is rare and precious, which you can be able to take you can be able to take to the marketplace. So he taught me, and I got my phone and I opened and I took the notes from him. And as he was telling me, because I learned it and I said, this will be part of the sharing that I'm going to share this evening. So once again, he said, what he summarized from the Employer New book is you discover yourself, discover your potential. Number two, you do what? You develop that potential in you. And when you develop the potential in you, that is what I'm saying. A man, Jim Rohn, is the one I quoted the other time, that who has said that the market pays you for value. And for the market to pay you for value, you need to go into developing that value. So you discover yourself, then from there you go into developing yourself. That is what the man Jim Rohn calls personal development. In short, if you forget, just say PD, personal development. And then when you develop yourself, you also start developing the what is around you, and this is what is called development. Even in the political economic in the economic in the economic arena. So you go into developing what is around you, so that it helps you to become what you are supposed to do. So discover yourself, develop yourself. Then from developing yourself, we talked about the fact that you need to reposition yourself. Because when you discover yourself, it means you'd realize and say, hey, am I, for example, you ask yourself, am I in the right position? I think I should have mentioned it, and I may mention it again. In chapter 2 of the Employer in Your book, I've talked about the law of position. So profit is equal to revenue minus cost. So you may realize, and he started telling me that I came to realize that Jacob in the Bible in Genesis chapter 29, 30, and 31, he had first positioned himself into simply getting away. And he was putting in the best, giving solutions to his uncle Laban. But then he had positioned himself in the cost position. But then when he discovered himself that he also equally had been made by God to be an employer, he was born an employer. He was born an employer. That there was an employer. There was an employer in him. He was able to reposition himself. So remember, I'm talking about you are looking at the flip side of problems, stroke challenges, to develop, market, and sell your solution and sell your product. And that is the flip side is focus on solutions. Identify problems this side, but also focus on solutions. And the advantage for solution is you look within yourself and around yourself and ask yourself, what can I do? What am I capable of doing? What is it that I'm capable of doing, maybe that I've not done as well as I am supposed to do it? If I was to focus my attention on this particular direction, what results am I going to get? How much value am I going to create for the marketplace? And this is where I'm using the discussion I had with a young man who read the Employer in Your book. So you discover yourself, then you develop yourself. The third, he said, he realized that he needed to reposition himself. And what encouraged me, and which has given me satisfaction, and when I get that satisfaction, I'm made to exclaim and say, now I can die. Is that the young man told me, after he gave me what I'm sharing with you, he told me that I have discovered myself. Now I have made a young man discover himself. I have discovered myself. You have discovered yourself. He said, yes. Okay. So now that you have discovered yourself, what is going to happen? Then now he took me to the next thing. Remember, I'm talking about the discover. Then next is what? Develop. Next, you reposition yourself. Thirdly, he said, now that I have discovered myself, I've now reached a stage where I can now be able to add value to the resources around me. Add value to the resources around me. And this young man is a person, the other time I was chatting with him, he has been seeing resources around him, but he has not maximized these resources. And he said, because I have discovered myself, now I have seen what I am capable of doing, and also how I can be able to go into resource mix of the resources are in me and the resources in me and around me, so that I can be able to produce value. And he told me that he has learned that when you produce value, you come up with products or services of value. Then he told me that he has learned that at the end of the day, instead of you chasing value, and he said, actually, he has learned that Employees chase for value and other people chase for value. But he said that those when you discover, when you discover, you develop, you reposition yourself. You discover, you develop yourself, and then you discover that you reposition yourself, and then you go into value addition to the resources within you and the resources around you. Then he says you reach a stage where value will start chasing you. I kept on listening to this young man, and I wrote notes like I'm saying. It's like I was actually in a lecture theater, and this young man was lecturing me. Was lecturing to me and teaching me. So I listened, and I put my phone. When you see me pull my phone or I pick a pen and I start writing, then it means what you are communicating to me is valuable. So I communicated. I said, this is nice, and this young man is giving me feedback on the employer in you that I've been looking for. So he says the value will start chasing you. And then he gave an illustration. Says, for example, where I'm staying, I have land with me, I have water, and this water actually is paid for. Remember those of you who might be saying the problem is capital. So he's saying, I already have capital. I already have capital with me. Now, if I grew vegetables using the land that I already have, and the water is paid for, then at the end of the day, the marketeers, I'm paraphrasing what he said, the marketeers will now start coming to buy the what? To buy the vegetables. And at the end of the day, I'll put money into my pocket. That is the aspect of you and I, looking at it from the perspective of solutions. What am I capable of doing? Of course, in the past, I have not done the correct thing, but what am I capable of doing? So then as we chatted, I told him, say, yes, that is what I have come to call in the employer, in your book, coming back to your senses, like the prodigal son in the Bible, in the book of Luke, who had gone and squandered all he had, and then he was eating what the swine were eating. And when he came back to his senses, he decided, he made a decision to do the right thing, to go back to the father. I think you know that aspect of that story. And then I told him that this is what happened to Jacob in the Bible. In Genesis chapter 29, verse 15, Jacob was introduced to a wage by the uncle. He became an employee. But when he came back to his senses in Genesis chapter 30, verse 25 through to verse 43, we see Jacob coming back to his senses. He discovered himself. Then after he discovered himself, he developed himself into a situation where he was able to even go further, to reposition himself from being an employee to becoming an employer, just like Laban. And he entered into an agreement with with his uncle now, so that he equated himself to be an employer. And also the person I chatted with last night, who I said got 2 of my books, he came, actually he's an employee, and he says, I'm quite very close with my employer. I said, yes. I said, we talk like, and we interact like we are friends. I said, yes, you interact like friends, because you are both at that level in terms of the skills. But the difference is you are driving around, even coming all the way from Lusaka, coming here by you locating yourself in the position profit is equal to revenue minus cost in the cost position. So basically, you need to, I asked him, I said, are you a shareholder? He said, no, I'm just an employee. I said, you should be working towards you becoming a shareholder in the company where you are working, because of the value that you have developed on yourself after discovering yourself, developing and then developing yourself. You need to reposition yourself. I was talking like the way the young man gave me the summary today of the employer in your book. So I think for today, we will end up here where I've been talking about the fact that you can use the flip side of problems or challenges to develop and market, and sell your products. And the flip side is solutions. Please discover yourself, develop yourself, reposition yourself, create value by coming up with a product or service for sale, and then from there, value will start chasing you. God bless you for today. As usual, for those of you on Zoom, you may join in the next, you may reconnect in the next session. Thank you.